There we go. Just for the recording. Hi, I'm Taikum BBG. Thank you for listening to this recording. So as you can see, I have shared my screen to our Ingenuity website page, which is ingenuity-inc.org. If you go up on this and you look for Creative Schools Fund, you'll get to this page called How to Apply. Right here is the tab says Apply Here with a deadline for this cycle, which is on October 27th. You can click here to begin your application. Other material up here is the grant guidelines, the recording from a previous session, as well as a slide deck from a previous session, and which is what we're going to be using today as well. So if you want to follow us along as we go through this presentation, feel free to go on our website. I'll drop the link in the chat so you can have it right here. And you can find all of this material and join us as we go through the slide deck. All right. So we are here to talk about the Creative Schools Fund Partnership Grant. This is our second information session for the cycle of 2020, for the school year 23-24. A little bit of an overview about the Creative Schools Fund. This is a public-private partnership with contributions from the Mayor's Office, City of Chicago, and City of Chicago Public Schools and individual institutional donors of Ingenuity. The fund has invested almost $20 million directly into schools and teacher design programs since 2013. The fund's goal is to support increased access to high quality arts education for every student in every grade through teacher designed arts programs in Chicago Public Schools. This is also the mission of Ingenuity. Today, the Creative Schools Fund itself has a couple different grants. Today, we are specifically talking about the partnership grants. These are competitive grants for all eligible schools, and they're offered only in fall. The only eligibility requirement for these schools is to complete the Creative Schools Certification Survey. This has to be completed by the school's art liaison. I think we've passed the deadline, but there has been a little extension till October 13th. So in case you haven't completed your Creative Schools Certification Survey, please do that first. Only then should you begin applying for this grant. The partnership grant, which is what this fall cycle is about, is focused on bringing artists, arts residencies and student learning opportunities to these schools. Teachers identify partners, or partners reach out to school and solidify a partnership, and together they apply for this grant. The grant will provide up to $10,000 for programming in spring 24. So that's our program period from February to June 2024. Just a little bit more about the opportunity. So you are here because you're one of two things. You are a school, you're looking to design a program and bring an arts partner into spring. This could be any of the various mediums or discipline: dance, music, visual arts, mixed media, you name it. You could partner with a teaching artist or an organization, set up a residency plan for them where they would come in once or twice a week with a set number of hours and work with a particular class or particular groups of students, develop a program, and may have a final performance or an exhibition. And this could also be used to plan for partnerships in the future. And once you apply for this and once you complete a reporting, this can allow you to keep applying for future grants of the same kind. And you could also be here if you're an arts organization or a teaching artist. You're looking to forge a partnership with a school with the least systematic arts access to help bring arts into public schools. You could reach out to a school using the Outlook information that Angela will shortly share and figure out which schools are seeking which partners, set up a partnership with them, together design a program, and then apply for this grant and use this funding as an additional source of revenue for your arts education activities. So I'm going to pass it here to Angela Lin, who is our director, and she's going to talk a little bit about the Outlook review as well as about some partnership resources. Angela, take it away.
Thank you so much, Taikum. So yes, if you've probably seen my name or you've seen me responding to an Outlook at Ingenuity-Inc. email. So my role at Ingenuity is a lot of data analysis, but also we do maintain the Outlook platform. And so if most of you have probably already heard of Outlook. It's a data sharing platform that allows schools and arts organizations to, understand the landscape of arts education across the sector, You can also share and find up-to-date information about arts programs and partnerships, and that's what Tycoon was just mentioning with looking for other information for schools and arts organizations. And so you're able to use this public-facing map to search up a lot of information about organizations and schools that you may be interested to partner with, or to, again, understand the landscape of arts ed across Chicago. And so there are three main components of Artlook. There's a public-facing map in which anyone can go on. You don't even have to be located in Chicago to be looking at this information. And from there, a lot of that information that's displayed on the map comes from the other two items listed here, the school portal and the partner portal. The school portal is where you will, if you're an arts liaison, you will also find the Creative Schools survey. And so now let's also dive in briefly, like what relates on Artlook to the Creative Schools Fund grant application. And so on the next slide, we're going to go through the Creative Schools survey. So this is going to be for schools. If you're an arts liaison, you should have been sent information the past few weeks about the Creative Schools survey. In general, this is an arts programming survey to inventory your programs and offerings from the prior school year. I think most of you on this call probably already finished your survey. We're so happy and pleased to announce we're already at 85% completion, with over 550 schools, I want to say, have already completed their survey. So most likely if you're in this call, your school has already completed their survey, which makes you eligible to apply for a Creative Schools Fund grant. If this sounds new to you, you could email us at artlook@ingenuity-inc.org at the bottom, where Tycoon's highlighting if you're not sure if your school's completed the survey. But if you know you haven't completed it, that deadline listed on this page has been extended to October 13th. Once you complete the survey, your school will be eligible to receive $1,000 in Arts Essentials in the upcoming months. This is planned to be rolled out in November, and so please get your survey done soon. This money can be used for arts materials and supplies. Completing the survey is also one of the requirements for the $200 Arts Liaison stipend. And so in general, this again can be accessed on Artlook itself. You're gonna have to log in to access your school survey. And we're happy again to say that over 85% right now have already completed their survey.
And Angela, there are 650 schools, right, in the district?
Yes, we have
a great number, 85%.
Yeah, and so we also really appreciate all the effort you all have done in getting us to that statistic. It's super helpful for us to understand the landscape of arts education and also provide targeted supports. And so on the flip side, we're going to go to the next slide for arts partners. How does Artlook relate here for you all with the Creative Schools Fund grant? So one, the website itself, again, is an opportunity to find potential schools you want to partner with. Aside from that, with this year's Creative Schools Fund application, please also check and update your organization's 23-24 Artlook profile. This hopefully should take only 10 to 15 minutes to update. Some information that we are collecting is organization details, program information, a list of your school partnerships if you know them already for this school year. If not, you can also update information from last school year. And of course, we're looking for contact information. This is something where our partnerships and learning team leverages a lot to make sure we can remain in contact with you to let you know of different resources and opportunities. And so again, this is on the Artlook map page, chicago.artlookmap.com. And for any questions, you can also reach out to us at that shared inbox. Okay, so then on to, I'll pass it off to Tyke. Okay, thank you. Let's do resource, no worries. So Courtney Centrone is our Director of Partnerships and Learning. She couldn't make it here today, but she does work on, with her team, a lot of resources for arts partnerships. And so with the cycle of the Creative Schools Fund grants, the focus is on partnerships. And so we want to make sure that Ingenuity is providing different resources for both schools and arts partners. And so CSF is interested in supporting partnerships that represent intentional growth and student access to high quality arts programs. And this is accomplished through partnership over time. So a list here is some items that are provided as part of these different supports. For one, we are offering partnership consultancy services. This is from the data and the partnerships and learning team. I'll send a few links once I finish speaking. And one of them is a services menu now. And from there, it's a Google form. You can request a number of items. This has been launched this school year. And this includes getting one-on-one support from the partnerships and learning team, some Artlook support from the data team, if you have some specific requests around, specific requests around like a CSV or Excel file of data that you're interested in from Artlick, we can also help provide that, as well as some information supporting getting through the procurement process. So there's a full list of different services within that menu, and I'll send that link soon. Along with that, there are different communication channels and calendar events. A lot of this information for arts partners is in the new back to school guide. And so it is an extensive guide. It is fairly long, but it's comprehensive and can give you all the links to the themes we're listing here. And so Courtney and Ariel and the Partnerships and Learning team have pulled together a one-stop shop for you to find all the information for the themes that are listed. And so that includes the following with the partnership best practices. You can find where the arts partner standards and practices are located, other key standards, and some just resources on building and sustaining partnerships, especially if you haven't had one before. Lastly, I do want to announce too, or second to lastly, I do want to announce the Fall Summit is happening next week. We have already had, I want to say, over 180 liaisons register, and we are at capacity right now for arts partners. We have 60 organizations that have already registered. And so this is going to be a great event. If you're an arts partner, please be sure to respond to Ariel and Courtney's email asking you whether or not you are attending next week, just to confirm, because we are at capacity with partner tables. But also you can join the wait list, and Ariel and Courtney are actively working through that now. If you're an arts liaison, there's still some spots left, so please register soon. It's going to be a great event with school representatives, arts liaisons, arts organizations, all being able to meet and form connections. And so I think I skipped one item here. That arts liaison guide you see a screenshot of is a complement to the arts partner guide. And so we also, for the first time, compiled in collaboration with the Department of Arts Education, a one-stop shop for key dates throughout the year for arts liaisons, key responsibilities, and just outlines to a bunch of links of where you can find information such as about the survey, about arts essentials, about partnerships, etc. And so I'll be sharing a link of all of these items in the chat soon, but this is a brief look at a lot of the resources that Ingenuity and the Department of Arts Education are offering to support partnerships. And so thank you, Tycoon. I'll pass it back to you to highlight what's new with this cycle.
Great. I'll begin with that. Angela, just to confirm, you're going to drop the links into the chat right now, the ones that you just mentioned? Great.
Yes.
And just so everybody knows, I'm excited about the Fall Summit. It's from 4 to 7. It's going to be great to meet everybody. There'll be snacks and I think libations to share. So it should be a fun event. All right, let's move on. And I'll talk a little bit about what is new this cycle. So we have a couple new different things, and thanks for the feedback on everybody who gave me about how to update this presentation or what more we could add here. So the first big thing is that we're using SlideRoom as the application portal. If you're a returning CSF applicant or grantee in the past, we have used Submittable. We're no longer using Submittable, but we're using SlideRoom, and that means you'll need to set up an account as an organization. So I'll talk through that a little bit as we go in. I want to reiterate that funding during this program cycle will only support programs in spring 2024. So that is program period February to June 2024. If you are a school that has received funding for programs in fall 2023, which is now, and or spring 2024, through the multi-semester grants, you are not eligible to participate in this cycle. It's because you already have received a CSF grant funding during this school year. And then arts partners will again be able to share their perspective and goals. The schools will invite the arts partner by using the reference invite form. This is really critical. The reference form is not to collect reference about your school or about you individually. It is just reference over here stands for partners. So don't fill in your niece or your neighbor or your landlord to send us a reference about who you are. So getting started with the CSF application. So as I mentioned earlier, if you go onto our website, Ingenuity Inc. Creative Schools Fund, on how to apply, you'll see right here a tab called Apply Here. You'll find the other material down below, but this is where you can start with when you click Apply Here. This should take you to this page. It'll give you an idea about what the grant is and also the application. But the first thing that you need to do if you don't have a SlideRoom account is sign up, which is right up here. When you sign up for a SlideRoom account, you will click on login right here, and since you don't have an email or a password. And when you're registering your SlideRoom profile, register as an organization or group. The organization name is your school's name. The first name and the last name is the arts liaison's name. The primary address is the school's address. And give us a phone number that we can get response to. It doesn't have to be a cell number. It could be the main office number, as long as it gets us in connection with somebody from the school. Then you can continue on to the application. And this is where you'll come back to the main page. Here you can see the deadline is October 27, 2023, and you can preview the full application without even beginning it and review what's happening in it. There are 4 forms in this application, and I'll go through them, and 1 reference form. That reference form, again, is for the arts partner. You are going to put in information of the arts partner, and I'll reach out to them, and they'll be able to fill this out. So when you click on Begin Application, this is what the application will look like. You'll see your 4 forms, and you'll also see references up here, number 2. Since the reference form or the partners form has to be completed by October 27th as well, I would suggest that you first click on references right here, and it will bring you to this page. Please provide up to 1 reference. When you click on add reference, it'll let you put the name of the arts partners. If you're working with, for example, Intonation Music or Changing Worlds, Michaela Bateman's name would come up here. You don't have to provide their title. All you need to do is give the email address of the arts partner you're working with, and that's all that you need. You could put in their name or any other information, but all of that is not mandatory. Only requirement is the name of the person and their email address, and just click on send request. So this will send the email to Michaela, Changing Worlds, or any other arts partner you're working with, and they will be able to start filling out their form. Once you do this, you can come back to the main page, which is the forms page, and start with the contact information. This is really information about the school, about your principal, about your arts liaison, about your school clerk, but also for us to know that if you have completed the Creative Schools survey. This is an important requirement. You have to click yes on this. This will let us, if you haven't completed the Creative School certification survey, please do not start this application. Complete that by October 13th and then begin this application. Page number 2 of the form, or form number 2, will be about the role of arts in your school governance. We want to know where schools are, what their commitment is to inclusion of the arts, and you can select which strategy you're currently on. If it's an arts-focused strategy in the continuous improvement work plan, it could be, you could select that. If you have an arts educator on the instructional leadership team, you could select that option. Or if you have an arts educator on your next continuous improvement work plan writing team, you could select that. We would like to know where arts is in your school governance as a whole. And then we want to know a little bit about the grant, or what your program, the grant will fund. So here you'll provide us a summary of the grant program or project you're proposing for a Creative School Fund during your first program period. So this is your upcoming spring program period. Tell us what you're thinking, whether it's a dance program, why do you think it is important? How will you go about it? Anything that you think we should know or reviewers should know about your grant or your program, please include that here. We also want to know what positive art changes you believe will occur in the school as a result of this grant. Do you think it will affect attendance? Do you think it will impact learning outcomes? Do you think it will bring help create a more collaborative atmosphere? Share all your thoughts with us. This will help us in our review process. We want to know the roles and responsibilities of the teachers and the principals at the school. So this will be a little information about how the school is going to support the arts program. And then we want to know about how did you go about selecting the partner? Whoever is your arts partner, what kind of collaboration have you all done already in the past? What kind of discussions have taken place to set up this program? You can provide us a little bit of overview of this, and then you can really tell us about the program plan. Here we want to know more about the students who will be participating in the program. We of course want to know their grades, the number of students, the number of weeks in the program, but we also want to know what your hopes are for their learning and for their growth over the course of the program. And then finally, you're required to confirm that all the programming will take place during the school day and not through out of school time. This is really important. CSF grants only support bell-to-bell programs, so the programming must take place during the school day. Form number 3 of the final form for this is the CSF application budget breakdown. This is where we really get an idea of what funding your request is and how you're splitting up that funding. The grant is for up to $10,000, but we need to know how you're going to be spending the money. This is also what Chicago Public Schools Department of Art Education needs, so they can directly load money into your Oracle budget system, something your clerks will be very familiar with. So the first two are partner services that are provided in the school, and then partner services in terms of preparing for the program, any costs associated with that. Number three is teacher planning, costs associated to the time that the teacher dedicates to planning for this program. Anything which is considered overtime or after work or extended day pay could be included here. Any field trips you're planning, if you're going to go to a museum or a gallery or a performance, you could include the costs associated to hiring a bus or any other field trip associated costs in this tab. Program supplies, these are specifically program supplies that will be used during the arts instruction. So if there are art supplies, costumes, whatnot. Number 6, again, is program supplies, but this is program supplies for your final culminating school performance or exhibitions. If you're going to have an exhibition and you need to install artwork, or you're going to have a final performance and you need some stage material, this is where that cost would come in. And then number 7, program supplies are any hardware or equipment valued at $500 and more. So if you're getting a laptop or a 3D printer, or a set of guitars, please include those costs over here. And then we finally need a narrative description of each budget line. So tell us what you're using the funding for and what your expected outcomes are. And then you'll click on submission. You'll attest that you will repay any amount that you'll not use. You'll submit a report to us at the end and not use any funds to influence legislation or outcome of elections or voter registration drives. These are mandatory attestations required by the CPS, by Chicago Public Schools. So please fill these out and then you can click on submit. And this isn't over yet. The reference form you filled out, which is the partner application, has gone to the partner. So please make sure your partners also receive this email. They are required to finish this as well so that the partnership grant can be considered complete. They'll select their name, their vendor number, give us all the basic information about this, and then also provide some of their programming goals or how they see program will take place. We want to know how the partner will work with the students to ensure their identity, relationships, and community are the center of their programming. What role will the programming support in the school in its journey to increase access to high quality arts education for every student in every grade, going back to our mission. And then we want to know a little bit more about who the partner is, if they're an organization or if they're an individual, if they're a 501c3 organization or not. And that doesn't affect our grant outcomes. This is just information you'd like to collect. And then we are also trying to get a better understanding of the teaching artists community in Chicago. So we want to know about the teaching artists that you'll be sending to the school, their title, what kind of disciplines they are familiar with, how long have they been in arts education, how long have they been with your particular organization, are they salaried, are they part-time, what is their compensation, if they receive compensation for planning and program delivery, and how your organization supports sustainable employment for its teaching artists, and also how the organization prepares teaching artists to work with young people, including ongoing professional supports and resources. You'll notice that there is no red asterisk next to these questions because these are not mandatory. These are self-select. We would appreciate the response so Ingenuity can have a better understanding of the arts education ecosystem in Chicago and prepare future and better ways to support them. And then again, we want to know if there are any other programs that you'll be providing at this school. It could be anything that's unrelated to the CSF grant, just to give us an idea what other participation you're doing with this school. You can let us know if you are providing a program and the number of weeks and what other few services you tend to provide to this particular school. Again, there's an attestation period process for you to complete. An important note to remember is that as per the CPS Central Office, to remain with the spending limits of $25,000 per school unless an agreement authorizes higher spending. So if you have already have ongoing commitments with the school where they have reached $25,000, then you may not be eligible to partner with this school anymore. And then you click submit, and we get this entire packet for us to review. We have a review team that will meet in end October and November, review each application. Each application will be reviewed by 3 reviewers, and then we'll meet together to make final decisions. So here's the timeline. The application opened on September 11th. We already had one information session on the 11th. This is the second information session today. We'll be having an open office hours on October 25th from 11 to 4. You can drop in if you have any questions as you're filling up your application. The application closes on October 27th. And then mid to late December, we'll notify if you've been awarded a grant. Fund transfer notifications should come to your school in February 2024, and the grant report will be due in June 2024. And finally, I want to talk a little bit about our Lollapalooza Arts Education Fund. Lollapalooza, which is a well-known music festival, has made a commitment to the city through Ingenuity and has committed $2.2 million to support schools that are developing and emerging. Within the portfolio of grantees, we'll be identifying schools who will be part of this cohort. You do not have to separately apply for this. As a member of the Lollapalooza Arts Education cohort, you would get tickets to the festival, but also any other programming opportunities that arise, we'll be sharing them with you. And finally, if you have more questions, feel free to reach out to me at tsb@ingenuity-inc.org. And if you have questions to anything Angela mentioned, you please feel free to write to outlook@ingenuityinc.org. And with that, I think we are done with the presentation process, and I can open this up for questions. If you'd like to raise your hand, we can go through we can pull you up and we can go through questions one at a time.
Hey, Taikum, I think we had two questions on while you were speaking too. So I'll start with the first one. I think Jessica has asked, what if you don't have an arts partner?
So if you don't have an arts partner, this is a time for you to go and find one. You could use the arts partner Outlook map that Angela talked about earlier and identify a partner that you'd want to work with. A good way to go about this is asking your students what kind of arts would they like. Would they want dance? Would they want music? Once you have a good idea what discipline you want, you could use the Outlook map to find arts partners within your community or around who could provide some of those services, or across Chicago. Any CPS approved vendor can be your arts partner. Okay, what's the next question is, can multiple schools use the same art partner? Yes, arts partner can partner with as many schools as they have capacity. Okay, we have a hand raised from Sharon. Sharon, would you like to unmute and tell us your question?
Yes, hi. First of all, hello everyone, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm super excited.
Great.
And thank you. So I wanted to know, what if your partner, will the cost of obtaining the partner absorbs the $10,000? So let's see if I can explain it, or if I can break it down. So I'm looking at the budget, and with the budget, there are budget line items for possible costuming or for field trips and some other areas. But what if the cost itself would all have to go to the partnership itself and to the organization partner? If their cost to partner with you is $10,000.
That is fine. That you can put zero in all the other segments, as long as that's something what the arts partner is providing, you're in agreement with. If that's how you'd like the program to be structured, you could put partner services at $10,000 and add zero to the rest of them. You don't have to add a cost into each individual tab if that's not the plan that you all have developed with the partner.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Of course. Okay. The next hand was Alice Vedoff. Would you like to unmute?
Hi, thank you for taking my question. I was wondering if you're able to talk at all about how you score the applications and what you're particularly looking for.
Yeah, I think one of the guiding things for the Creative Schools Fund and Ingenuity is to ensure that we are providing arts access to the schools, the least systematic arts. And this is where the Creative Schools Certification Survey comes into hand. We look at firstly where the school is at in that survey and what kind of programming they are looking for, and what would it do in terms of their own arts access. Beyond that, we are really looking at the program and what the program plan is, whether if it feels like this is something that's been thought through, this is in line with what the partner and what the teacher are saying matches, the expectations set are realistic and their goals are achievable. So these would be the driving factors of the review process. Does this answer your question?
Yes, it does. I was wondering if I could tag one more question on that.
Sure.
I am new at my school this year. I'm not new as an arts liaison, but this is my first year at the school. And it was not very organized in the past year. And our art survey is already out of date. Like it says that we have a visual arts teacher, but I'm actually a drama teacher. And I'm the only, because last year they had a visual arts teacher, but this year they don't. And it's based on last year, not this year. So like if I were to apply with a visual arts partnership, because we don't currently have visual arts, are they going to be looking at the survey that's actually based on last year? Do you see what I'm saying? Like if our survey from last year is not our current situation, is that going to work against us?
The short answer is no, I would say on that. So I think that's a really good question. That's really observant that you're recognizing the surveys from last year, you're applying for this school year. I will say we do prioritize developing and emerging schools. If you're unfamiliar with the certification, we do rate, I think you have probably received your roadmap, Creative Schools roadmap from at your prior school, but we do rate and score every school on a 100-point scale. And with the Creative Schools Fund, we do prioritize those that scored, I believe, 78 points or fewer. And so just keeping that in mind, there might be that sort of effect, but not on the detail level where you're mentioning whether or not there was a teacher of this type of discipline. And within, I believe, the application from this year, you can highlight some priorities. And if that is like filling a gap in instruction or providing a different discipline that is not provided, or the other way around, is stuff that you can highlight in your narrative. So hopefully that helps.
Yes, thank you.
There's a question in the chat by Kathy. Must the art partner work with every student in every grade in the K-8 school? No, we realize that's not possible for the scale of funding and the scale of this program. It could be just one grade you're working with or a group of grades. That's really something you and the arts partner would decide and work with. We do not expect this one program to be able to support every student in every grade in your school. So that is the ultimate goal of Ingenuity, that we could get to that point where every student in every grade has access to the arts. All right. The next one that has hand up is Clifford. Clifford, would you like to unmute?
Yes. I have a question because this is my first year as an art teacher, and I'm currently at a school, and this is pretty much our first time having an art program here at our school. So I'm just trying to figure out, what resources can be provided, but with Creative Ingenuity, because I want to be able to at least like provide that for my students. So just want to know more about that.
Yeah, so I think the first thing for sure, firstly, thank you for joining us today. I'm so glad to hear that you are bringing arts programming to your school. I think the first thing you should definitely do is, if you haven't completed the Creative Schools certification survey, to make sure you complete that. This will immediately give you $1,000 to buy art supplies. We don't follow up and try to, there's no other reporting required on this. Once you complete the survey, you get $1,000 for art supplies. So this should at least set the stage running. Then I would encourage you to go through our Artlook map and look at the various partners that are there and see if there's a partner that fits the role of the arts program you want at your school. So this could be, if you want a discipline-specific program or a goal-specific program, you could find it. And you could reach out also to our partnership team. You could write to me and I can connect you to them if you have questions on how to identify a partner for the school. If you already have a partner that you want to work with, then the Creative Schools Fund is a resource for you. You would apply to this application, and if your school receives a grant, then you'd get $10,000 to bring programming into spring. The Creative Schools Fund grant is cyclical, so there'll always be a cycle every fall. Plus, additionally, in spring, we have invite-only applications that are specifically focused on increasing the minutes of instruction. So if you're not providing your students with 120 minutes of arts instruction as the district recommends, we can assist with that. Or if you're in high school seeking to expand the disciplines you're providing, you could apply for a disciplines in-depth grant. We also have a small capital projects grant that assists in building out art spaces, nothing huge, up to $15,000. And this could be another way for you to get funding and support from Ingenuity.
Okay.
Also, let me know if I'm speaking too fast, guys. Okay, we have a question for Christine's telephone number at Outlook, Angela. Okay, you got it, right?
Thank you.
And then if Joffrey Ballet is currently working with my students, does that make my school eligible for arts partnership this year? Caitlin, what school are you from, and have you already received a CSF grant?
I'm at Lozano. It's my first year as the arts liaison here. It's my first year at the school too. I know that the Jeffrey Ballet is currently working with it, but I don't know that information that you asked me.
Okay, would you mind emailing me at tsb@ingenuity with your question, and I'll look into it. And I can't remember the top of the head if I think Lozano has an ongoing grant right now, but I'm going to double check this. Do you mind just emailing me your question? I'll get back to you tomorrow.
Yeah, I can do that too. And I'm also curious if, let's say they don't have my students don't have enough minutes in my discipline, does that affect the answer or no?
No, in terms of whether you'll get a grant or not? No,
Yeah.
we're not looking at that.
Okay.
We're looking at the grant to fill any gaps that you might have.
Yeah, so I guess that's what I'm wondering is if I already have a partnership in dance, can I still fill it out to fill up the minutes I'm missing from art?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Angela, did you have something else you wanted to add here?
Oh no, I was just saying, I just want to clarify for Caitlin. I think I was wondering if they're asking if they can still apply for another CSF partnerships grant for that overlaps if they are receiving a CSF grant already for a different discipline.
Oh, yeah. Is that the question, Caitlin?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood. Yes, if you've already got a CSF grant for this school year, you can't get another CSF grant. There's a small pot of money and you'd like to spread it out between all schools.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Alice, you put a question in, where can we find, sorry, I lost it. Where can we find info about other grants for art spaces, etc.? We don't post this on our website, but we send out emails to arts liaisons who have completed the Creative School Certification Survey in spring, letting them know when these application cycles open. You could also write to me in February, and I can provide you an update where we are with the new cycle in spring. Okay, we have a question from Jill. Hi, all. I work for an arts partner who offers arts-based SEL programming for CPS schools. There are several charters who have asked me about this grant. So my question is, are charter schools that are governed by CPS eligible for this grant? Yes, they definitely are, and they are more than welcome and invited to participate. Again, charter schools would also have to finish the Creative School Certification Survey to be eligible for the CSF grant. Next question by Clifford. For the partnership, will we be able to collab on visual arts projects for students, as well as introduce museums to students, get a deeper understanding for arts education? So just so I'm understanding your question correctly, the partner that you want to work with would be a visual arts partner, and you'd want to do a field trip or invite museum staff as part of the program. That sounds totally fine, and that's acceptable for this application, as long as everything is taking place bell to bell. So during the school day, we would ask you to provide a detailed description of the program as part of your grant application. Okay, Caitlin, you raised your hand, I believe. Oh no, is that the old one that I?
Yeah, this is Kathy. I raised my hand. I'm not sure if you meant Kathy or Caitlin.
I'm sorry, Kathy. Yes.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I have a specific question about the grant. I started looking into it, and we've already identified an arts partner. And when you went through how to fill out the grant, it seemed like they would actually, the arts partner does actually fill out some of the information. Is that correct?
So the arts partner just has to, so I can go back to the application. Give me a second. What the arts partner has to fill out is just the contact name of the, sorry. Carrie, do you mind repeating your question so I can?
Yeah, I've already identified, and I opened the application to take a look at it, and we have a partner identified. And I know that you had said in the presentation that they will be filling out the information. How do they access SlideRoom? Do I just give them this link and then they would fill that out? Is that correct?
No, when you go on add reference right here,
Uh-huh.
here, and you fill their name and email address, SlideRoom directly sends them an email with the
Ah.
form that they have to fill out.
Got it. Okay, thank you very much.
It works very much like a reference form that you would ask a student would fill out when they're applying to a college or a university. That's why it's called a reference form. Unfortunately, no portal has a form that they call the partner form, since Ingenuity is only uniquely doing this. But yeah, that's how it works. Once they put in their name and email address, an email gets shot out to your arts partner and they receive a form that they fill out.
Perfect, thank you.
We have something in the chat. Have a good one, Alice. All right. Any other questions? Going once for a question in the chat or a raised hand. Going twice. That's it. That's all we have. This will be recorded and we'll be changing the recording currently on the website. So you can review this again. This slide deck is already on our website, as well as is the grant guidelines. You can always reach out to us if you have any questions or attend the info session, the office hours on October 25th if your last minute questions arise as you complete the application. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to end this for everyone. Have a great day and I'll see you all soon. Bye.